Java email administration. In this project, we are going to learn basic Java project focused on object-oriented design in real-world application. So this is email administration project where all the email details like creating mail using first name and last name, then giving the company department like related to that company department, then creating some system generated password, assigning to that particular email. We are going to create here email administration project likewise that. So in this project, we are going to learn some basic concepts of Java, object-oriented design of Java, then abstraction of Java, like how we can secure our password and everything, like abstract that password. Also, we are going to learn how we can execute or create some files in Java itself, like file handling in the Java. So after creating all the details like email, their password, first name, last name, we are going to store that particular data or information in a text file. So let's see how we can proceed with this project. So first we are going to learn or we are going to see our project aim. So consider you are an IT support administrator or something like that, your post, or what you are going to do is your task is creating email accounts for new hires or new employees. For that purpose, you need first name and last name only from the user, or we can say from the new employees. So using that, you are going to create new email with another details. So steps of our development or for this project is, first is project setup, how we are going to set up all things in this. Basic fundamental concepts in Java. We are going to use Java core basically here. Accessing classes, methods, or all the abstractions of in classes in Java. Here we are going to see basic concepts, creating objects, classes, methods. File handling Java. Basically, we are going to create one text file, txt file, and we are going to store all the data in it, and we are going to retrieve that information also. Creating single execution file of jar. Likewise, in this project, we are going to create multiple classes or Java files, but after that, we are compiling it into the single executing jar file. So this is our basic project or steps of development we are going to use here. So our application requirements, or we can see how we can proceed with our requirements. First, we are going to need one JDK. I'm going to explain the what is meant by JDK in Java. And second is IDE. IDE basically integrated development environment for Java. So there are multiple IDEs in this field. We are going to see how we can use that for our application. First is our basic thing is generating an email with syntax like first name, last name, @department. We are going to provide .company.com. So here first name, last name and department is given from the user, or we can say new hire from. So for the determine of department, I am considering here sales, development and accounting here. Or if none is given from the new employee, then that blank will be there in email. Generate random string for the password. It's our third aim of that our application. Application should have some set methods to change the password. Then set the mailbox capacity, basically the mail capacity, and define the alternate email address. This is also going from the user only, or we can say new hire only. It should have some get methods to display the name, email and the mailbox capacity when we are going to track that email address also. And it should have some file handling methods, or we can say file handling methods to store some data in txt file. So it will store data and retrieve data also. So this is our application requirements. And here we are going to use JDK, basically Java Development Kit, and IDE, Integrated Development Environment. Two tools we required. So as I mentioned, we are needed some IDE. So for the Java development, I am going to use here IntelliJ IDEA. So we are going to use IntelliJ IDEA as our IDE for the Java development. So in this project, we are going to build our whole project using this IDE. For the JDK or Java, we are going to use here Java SE, which is standard edition 16th generation JDK for the Java development. So from these websites you can download it and you can use it, utilize it. So for this you need to download as per your system requirements. There are two versions of this IDE, Ultimate and Community. You can download it. And for Java SE, you have to download JDK here and you have to install it. Once you installed it, its IDE will automatically detect the path of that JDK. So this is about all your tools we required. So first, let us see what is meant by JRE, JVM and JDK. So just we downloaded the JDK, the Java SE version, standard edition version 16 we downloaded is basically JDK. So JDK contains JRE and JVM. So JVM is the smallest part of JDK. So JVM is the Java virtual machine, as the name suggests. No physically exists. It's not physically exist on your system. It's virtual machine. But its main aim is, or main function is, it provides the runtime environment in which Java bytecode executes. So what is meant by bytecode is basically you are creating some Java syntax or its higher level language you are writing, but machine knows the lower level language 1010 machine level language. So it converts that bytecode and executes that bytecode. It also runs programs in other languages but compiled in Java. So basically, if you created some other languages, I mean by Kotlin or some, these supports the JVM also. So what is the main functions of JVM is, it loads the code, it verifies the code, it executes the code, and it provides the runtime environment. Second part is JRE, Java Runtime Environment. What is the JRE is? It is a set of tools, library and some jar files, Java archive files. It's used in the Java applications, programs that we are going to create. And it provides the implementation of JVM. It physically exists in JDK, as its runtime environment is just a set of programs, protocols in JDK. JDK is Java Development Kit. It contains JRE, JVM, Java compiler, Java versions, basically different versions, all the related files and everything it contains. And let's see what is the structure of that. It's look like JVM, JRE and JDK. So JDK is the super class, or we can say all the union class of JRE and JVM. So JVM is the smallest part, Java virtual machine. Then Java runtime environment contains some set of libraries, jar files, some other files also it contains, and it contains JVM also. So this creates JRE, and this is development tools, contains Java files, Java compiler files, Java files, and JRE, JVM all makes JDK. So just we downloaded the JDK, it contains the JVM, JRE and everything. It will execute our Java file and it will give our desired output, what we are going to proceed with. So this is the basic concepts of JRE, JVM and JDK. Now we will see how we can set up our environment or our project for our application, email administration application. Once you install our IDE, IntelliJ IDEA, you can see this welcome screen. Before that, I already installed in my system. So before that, you should set some configuration like font, text, everything. So once this is done, you can see this screen. So here I am going to create new project here, new project. So it will take time to create new project. So once new project I am going to create here. Once this screen is loaded, you have to specify your JDK, or we can say here SDK. So it will automatically detect your SDKs here. I am using 16th version of JDK, so I am choosing this. No need to install any additional libraries like Groovy or Kotlin here, or no need to specify some user defined libraries also. Just click the next. Don't check this. It will create some default template. We don't want to create some default template here. Create next. Before that, give the project name and project location. So for this, I'm going to specify the project name as email application. You can specify your name also. Project name, I'm going to specify email application. Click the finish. It will take time to create indexing and everything, but it will, once it's load, it will show the screen also. So wait for creating our new project. It will take time. Wait for it's showing the loading here, you can see. So wait for that scanning and indexing everything. It will automatically create all the folders related to our project. So now we are done with our setup. So we specify the JDK, then we created our new project. Now you can see this is our project email application, and you can see all the related files here, that is .idea, then src folder is a main folder. We are going to create here all the applications here. Then this is iml file and all the external libraries and everything. So here this is only Java files we are going to use, so this is not at all required to see, and this is main file we are going to use. So we are done with our setup. Now we will see the how we can proceed with our project. So once this setup is done and all things are indexed and loaded, now what you are going to do is click this on src, right click here. It will take time to load, so just right click here. It will give all the options related to this. Click on new. You can see every option what we can make in this. So what we needed create some Java files. So we need to create Java class. But before that, what I am going to do is I am creating these Java classes we are going to proceed with in some package. What is meant by package in Java is I am going to store that specific classes in some files. So this is a very basic project. In further projects, we are going to create some large projects. In that part, we need to create some different packages, like in the industry also. Once for the small requirements, we can create small packages. So once package is done, specify the name, you can see the package here. So I given the name as email app here for that package. It will create some simple folder for that classes. Now choose this email app, right click on that, and here I am going to create class. For this we need to create two classes. So what is the requirement of creating two classes, you will ask? So in one class we are going to create main method, which is basically executing method, and in another Java file or class we are going to create, or we are going to specify all our methods. So first let's see that method part, or we can say what we are going to specify in that part. Let's see in that. So first I am going to create Java class, and in this specify name for this Java class as email. I'm going to give as email. Once it is done, it will load that class. So as you can see, it will load this class for us with some default structure. Let us see what is this structure first. You can hide this part also here. I'm going to leave this, and let's see what is this basically structures. This is package name email app we created under this, and this is our class. So we are done with the primary setup of this, like public class mail. This is the class syntax for that. We will in the further this we are going to see how we can proceed with our what is meant by class, methods, everything, and how we can proceed with our project in this. So we have seen this is setup of our project. So we just created one package known as email app, and we created a class which is basically publicly specified class. Now I will explain what is our blueprint of our project, and then I will explain some basics of class, methods, and objects, etc. So let's see what is the blueprint of our project. So project blueprint is, consider this is as a package email app. This is email class and methods just I created. So this is project blueprint, package email app, and this is email class and methods, and which I created before in IDE I showed. So now this is done. These things are done basically. In future, what we are going to do as we move in our project, we will create one main class. We will load all the methods related to this using objects, and we will execute these methods inside this main class. This is our main project blueprint. So let us see what is basically Java classes and methods. So Java class, let's see first thing about class. Everything in Java is associated with classes and objects. Without classes and objects, you cannot create any code, or we can say any method in Java. So it contains attributes, methods. Attributes are basically what we can say is classes plus attributes create some environment for method. So for example, in real life example, you can consider car is an object. Car has attributes such as weight and color, and methods are such like drive, brake, and something like that. So basically, what we can create car as a class. Its attributes are weight, color, their model numbers, etc. And methods, car can stop, drive, brake, etc. So class is like a object constructor, we can say. It creates the object, or we can say constructor of the object, or it can be a blueprint for creating objects. So objects are basically just invoking the class. Classes also hold some user defined attributes to pass values or input from user. So we can give the user defined attributes also inside the classes. Now what is meant by objects in Java? So objects are basically associated with classes. But what is the simplest form we can say that to use a class, object is used basically. So if you define some class and you want to use that class, you have to define the object. As class is already created, we have to only just create the object for that particular class. As we created already that object class, we can easily create their object. But like class, then we can create the object. So this is all about the class. Now let us see some what we are going to do in our project. So before moving in further, I will proceed with code or project. Let us see. So inside this, I created this class. So I need to create some methods. But before that, we need to invoke some libraries. So for the libraries, I am going to put import java.util.star. I will explain what is this meaning. I'm not going to use this, but I'm not currently using this library. It's showing ID is showing this. You are not using this library currently. But what is the significance of this? It is very important library, java.util.star. Dot star meaning in the util, I am using utilize the all things related to that. So we can say it is very basic library inside Java. Another same library I am going to use is import java.io.star. It is basically input output library for invoking and taking user inputs. It will be the helpful library. So as this is done, our first thing I am going to explain here is how to take user inputs in Java. So you can do is scanner. It is the by default method, we can say, or default method for taking inputs. I'm going to use this. So I'm going to invoke inside class only because I'm going to specify it as a public. So what I can do is public scanner. Public is access specifier, public scanner. As you invoke scanner, you can see now the java.util it's started. So scanner, this scanner class is belongs to this library, java.util. It's by default library. S is equal to new scanner. This is a syntax basically. Syntax to invoke scanner. System, it is again one of the by default classes, system.in, which is basically method. So this is done. Now I am going to set up some variables here. So for this I will explain. I just put here scanner class for explanations. Now setting variables. Setting variables, I am going to set some variables here. But for the security issue, we can say I am going to create some abstract thing here. What I am going to do is I am going to use private here. As this is public given, I am going to use here private. So let us consider this private string. I am going to specify for string f name, basically first name. Similarly, private string last name. Similarly, like that, I am going to create some similarly like department, DEPT department for department, then for email, then for password. Now consider this, I am going to specify all these things in the string method only, like string as a string variable only. Now I am going to specify its mail capacity, which is integer capacity is equal to 5. I am considering by default 500 MB. Then private string, again alternate mail, basically string alter email. So we are done with invoking. Now remember, these are the global, or we can say these are strings can be accessible throughout this class. So in the class I can create as much as I want for methods. So I can use this throughout this class. As you can see, this class ends here. I can use throughout this class. So we are done with creating some variables, and I am setting it to the private to not give access directly. Basically, once this is done, no one can access this, as its access specifier is private. So let us see with some constructor methods and what is meant by method in Java. Okay, so Java class we have seen. So as I told you, I will tell some more about class. Class is a blueprint we have seen. So class is something like it stores the functions or method in one block of code basically. Consider as an example, sketch of house is a class. Then it contains all details about the prototype of house, doors, windows, etc., etc. House is a house is an object of that class sketch of house. Basically, I created this sketch of house. Now house is an object. So what I can do is class contains all properties of that object related. So syntax to declare it, as I told you, class name as we created there, and I'm going to specify access specifier before that. Consider if you are not given any access specifier there, by default it will be default access specifier, which is basically public only in Java. But if you can specify public, private, and protected is fully protected. Like you have to invoke. It's more what we can say archived method for privacy and security. So as I told you, in object we are going to create object. I'm not created here any object, but we are going to create an object for that purpose also. So it's basically used to call class or execute that class. Object is also called as an instance of classes. Without object we cannot call class. Always remember that to call the class we have to use object. So for that example, previous example, as I told you, sketch of house, class sketch of house, door and windows are some methods, or we can say functions inside this. So this is main method. If you know that in the Java, public static void main is a default method to execute any program in Java. Without this you cannot start the program, or you cannot execute the program. For that sketch of house, I created this object obj. You can see obj1 new like this, and execute that object. We are going to see in further details about Java objects. So now Java methods. Now why we needed methods? So I will show in the IDE basically. If I want to print something in IDE, my default method is system.out. Now you will see the error here basically. System.out, any error, it is not invocable inside any class. Why? The thing is, it's only defined to the method. First create method, create class, inside that create some method, then you can invoke it, that method, as simple as that. So methods are declared within the classes. It contains whole code of particular functions. Method contains return value and access specifiers. They are the object classes. As object classes are created, we can easily access methods using that object. Main method is default method, as I told you, to run or build code or project, anything. Main method, always remember, public static void main, and it's always returns strings. You cannot change to integer or something like that. You can print integers, but you cannot return integers inside main method. Packages are in the Java, as I told you. I am again telling that it's just creating a folder and I am storing all the classes inside it. Now there are two methods, user defined methods and standard library methods. User defined methods, like I'm going to create some methods here. Similarly, like that, you can also create some user defined methods. Basically, it shows that it's userly defined methods. There are some standard library methods that I created: scanner, system, all the standard library methods that I mentioned, built-in methods in Java. So if you want to check number even or odd, there you can create some even odd functions that's user defined. But I specified some library method like random, system. These are dot in, basically are system defined methods. So now let move on to our code. Now I told you about let's see how we can proceed with building our project. So we created all things here. Now I want to create one constructor. Now what constructor will do, it will print what I want, basically first thing. Second thing, it will give me the output, and as well as creating constructor itself is the like privacy thing inside Java. It I am going to invoke, or I am going to run only constructor, so it will not use this private string or something like that. It will take value from that, but you cannot change this value, or we can say third party cannot change this value. Just I'm going to create it. So constructor, I'm going to specify that here note receive first name, last name, and everything. That's it. I'm going to tell like only for that only, like first name, last name, that's it. You can change it to some other names also, but be careful about the name. Now consider I am going to create this as a public. Always remember class and constructor have same name. So I'm going to give the constructor attributes f name, same name I'm giving. Always remember inside the constructor you have to give same name. After that you need to specify something like this f name and this f name are totally different. So in previous videos or in previous project steps, what we did is we created one class, email class. We created one scanner class which is public. Always remember this scanner is global. I will write here also global. This is global. You can use this scanner all in this our project. Then these are private. These are strings also are global. You can use this inside this email class, and we are going to use inside this class also. So all these are about creating class. We already created this class. Now we created one constructor to receive first name and last name. Now what is the significance of constructor is, if I am putting here only these parameters I am putting here, it is not like abstracted or something. You are using that class and you are not securing it. Anyone can change that part, like their private f name, first name, last name, they can change it. So significance of this is creating constructor is to receive a first name and last name and protect that from original one, which is private string and first name and last name. So let's move further. Now in this constructor, what I'm going to do, I'm going to assigning this f name to this f name. To do this, what we are going to use this keyword. This dot f name is equal to f name. Similarly, for this also, like this last name, L name, basically L name is equal to L name. So what happened is, you can see this and this are equal now. So it is not just forwarding the value, it's copying that value from here to here when we are going to run this program. Now I am going to print output system dot out dot println. Inside this I am going to print like new employee plus this dot fname plus I'm going to give some small gap here in between, and then this dot lname. So we are done with constructor. Now inside this, we are going to develop more in this constructor. So I am leaving some space here. Now we are going to create some methods. So from the PPT PowerPoint and that template, we already know we want to create some mail, generate password. For that, we need to create some methods. So let's start with creating some methods here. So let's begin with some department, asking the department and then password, or okay, let's start with generating email. Generate mail. Okay, mail method. Now remember, this should be private. So I am creating private. It's not really that you have to always create it private. You can create it public, but to achieve the abstraction, I'm going to use private. It's going to return string. So string generate email. This is the syntax of creating methods. Now what it will return? It will return email. This format is this dot fname. So if you are putting first name in capital and email is always in small letter, to convert this to all small letters, there is a system default method, or we can say user library, to lowercase. You can see to lowercase. You can put to lowercase here. So what it will do, if you are putting all the capitals, even if you are putting all the capitals, it will create to the small case. Similarly, this dot, we know, okay, before that we need to put dot here, plus again this dot lname dot to lowercase. Now we want to put here @ symbol. So @ then this dot department dept dot, again to lowercase. This is syntax, as I told you about all the syntax here, plus now the simple remaining dot company dot com. This is simple remaining thing. So what it will be do, it will take first name last name from user and it will put with the department. It's just generating the mail. Now we will move further. So what we did is we created first method. Now for we are going to move in the second method, asking for department. Asking for department. Again private string set department, set dept I am putting here. Now I need to put some user interaction with. I am not going to assign directly. For that administrator, it will ask which department do you want to put. So I will put here first system dot out dot println department codes. Then what it will be print? It will print department codes basically, but likewise this one for cells. Remember /n will be put in the next line. Next line for new line, or for new line I am putting /n. Development third department I'm going to put is for accounting department. And last I'm putting 0 for nothing. I'm not going to mention here anything. So I'm putting here none. So now what I want to create some loop, or what we can say choosing part here, that 1 2 3. So you can go with too many cases like switch case and something, but I'm going to use here switch case. You can use if else, but using switch case is more efficient here. So I will create one flag here. Let me tell you why I'm going to use here flag, because I want to execute it again and again. Like if I'm not going to execute it again and again, it will generate only in first time, or we can say if you are entering first employee, it will ask. I want to put for multiple employees, so I want to create some loop. I'm going to use here do while loop. uh, why I'm going to use do while loop is very important here. I want to execute at least one time, and the do while loop will execute at least one time. For other loops like for loop, while loop, for each loop, or enhanced for loop in Java, there is no like condition. There is not any condition. It will move for one, two, but do while loop will run at least one time. So I will put do here first. Do, if you know the syntax, do. Then I will put here system to, I'm going to ask like system.println, just enter department code. So this is very simple part, department code. After that, I will create one variable choice, put choice. Now I'm going to use is next int. So you will understand what is this S. S is this scanner part, scanner, publish scanner part. So I'm going to use this S to take user input. Now switch S, oh sorry, switch choice. I will put then case 1. If you know case 1, return sales. It's if it's putting, okay, the ideal condition you have to break it, but there is not any significance for this. You have to put break statement here, but I'm going to just returning this, so it will return only in one time. It will not again and again start looping inside the switch case. So just returning doesn't need any break line here. Case 3, return, wait a minute, return accounting. And if case 0, return none. Now case, it is not going there. Wait a minute. Okay, case 4, oh sorry, case 0, return none. That's it. So we are done with this, but we are missing something. Like we did want to exit that loop, and we want to create some default condition. So we are done with our logic, but we are not done with our perfect code. So let me complete that one part also. Default, I will print here system.out.println invalid choice, please choose it again. Now we are done with this. Now switch case. Now I will end up with do while. So this is the do part, however. So I will put while here, while flag. So what it will do, as flag is always false, not means always true, it will return null. That's it. So what it will do, it will execute at least one time, return null. So now we are done with this part. As you can see, what we did here, let me summarize this. So what we did is we created one constructor, public email, string first name, string last name with parameters. We invoke it with this name dot fname. So what we are doing, we are going to assign this fname to this fname, this last name to this last name, and I'm going to print this here. So now constructor part is not done. We are going to create and invoke some other methods also there, but it's initial condition for the constructor. Now I started with our methods. I created first private string generate mail method. So what it will be do? It will do generating the mail according to our syntax. So return this dot fname dot to lowercase into dot this dot these are the lines. So what is the significance? This dot fname, it will took this fname here dot to lowercase. It will convert all the strings into lowercase. So no need to worry about uppercase and lowercase. Then dot, then again this for last name and this for department, this for the company.com. So it will generate that mail according to that. After that, I want to set department, but setting the department is all about the process from user, or we can say administrator. So I will put here 1, 2, 3 and 0 for the options, sales, development, accounting respectively. Then I will create one boolean flag to execute that loop. I am going to use here do while loop because it will at least run one time. Again the department code for choice I am giving. I'm using switch and switch case method here, switch case conditions. You can use if else conditions also, but it will be take too much time to execute that. To reduce time complexity here, I use switch choice case 1, case false else, case 2 for development, and according to that default condition exiting that do while loop with the flag and returning null. So I created two methods here, generate mail and set department. So now we are done with this. So I will explain the what is the significance of this in part also. So this will assign the you understood that part. So let's try with what is this part. So let me show you what is this significance is. So this is the reference variable that returns the current object. It gives states and behavior of the object. It's simply if global variable and class variable are the same, you want to invoke it same, it will assign it, and we just did it. The global variable is different and class variable is also same. For that purpose, we just use this word. If this is not used here, it will return null value. If local variable and instance variable are different, there is no need to use. If both difference are different, like global is different, class variable is different, but you want to assign it to is equal to, you can do it, but name should be different. So avoiding using different names, I used here this keyword, and this is very efficient. Also, this can be used to invoke current class constructor, what I did in this part, to invoke the current class constructor. So we will move further with another methods also here. So let us see what are other methods we are going to see. So in the previous part, what we learned is about creating constructor and creating two methods. We created already two methods, generate mail, set department. Now let us see what we are going to move further. So for this, I'm going to explain how we can create random password here. So generate random password method. I'm going to put here name as like that. Then again private. I'm considering here string only. Generate password. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put here some parameter, integer length, because I want to specify the length of that password length. Then I will create one exciting method here, it is random. So if you know, there is one in Java util, there is a class called random, which I already invoked. It will be helpful to create some random thing inside Java. You can print any random number using this, or you can generate any random string here. So first I'm going to put here is string capital characters, capital characters, because we want to create some set of capital characters here. So A to Z, capital A to Z, A, B, C, like that. So that's it. We are done with capital letters. Now we will put similarly small letters. So I'm pressing here Control D, just Control D to put copy that part and small characters, and I'm going to put here all small characters. So we are done with small characters. Now I want to put numbers, because there are numbers also in passwords. So numbers is equal to 0 to 9. Now some symbols. So what I'm doing, I'm creating some sets, as you can see, of the strings. Like these are strings only, but for symbol is set, capital letters is characters, small character sets. For the symbols, I'm considering all the symbols like explanation, @ hashtag, then dollar symbol, percent, and symbol, and again question mark. Question mark is also used here. Question mark. Then value. Value is basically just what is the what we can say syntax of our this. So what it will be considering here is all capital characters plus all small characters. Wait a minute, small characters plus numbers plus symbols. So we are done with what is the syntax of our, like it will include capital, small characters, numbers, symbols. These are the for the system default passwords. These for system default password. Now let's move with further how we can generate some random. So first create string for password, put it into the null, because first time it is null, then it will append some password here. Then for use for loop, integer I, instant variable again to loop it, I slash length I use here length, I plus plus, simple for loop. Now use this password is equal to password. What it will be do? It will put that values characters at index, then R. Now remember what is the R? R is for that random method. It will choose any random thing from that all the sets and it will put inside this. So random dot next int because for this I it will choose next int. Then inside this next int values dot length, because it will stop at that length part also, and simply it's return password. So what it will be do, the significance of this is this will take this from this all sets. Now password will assign with password plus what is mean at that values character at which character it is want, random next int, it will choose random from this, also the random position of that password, values dot length, till that length it will put that password. So now I am not giving the fixed length for this, but for that purpose it will choose the simple length here, as I mentioned here. We will see in the next part. So this is for the random password, generating random password method. Now I want to create the specific, which is change password method. Change password method. Now in change password method, I want to set it to public. Now, why will you tell that it should be public? You are all creating that private part, and this is only public. Why? So change password is for user, not for the system. User will change that password. Again, I'm going to use some private strings here, but it should be public for the user significance. So set password, again, this is I'm going to set to the void, return type void, because it will return nothing. It will just print. Now I want to create some loop here. The thing is, before like set password, you know, do you want to choose change your password, press Y and N. Similarly, like that, I want to create here condition boolean flag is equal to false. Similarly, we created for that set department. Similarly for this also. Then do loop, here do while loop, system dot out dot println. Do you want to change your password? That part y slash n slash n. So it will ask for user. Now let us see what is we can do is char choice. Again, I am creating character here. Remember, these are the int for that department. It is int. Now I am creating for the character. Character choice is equal to s dot next for the character. S is for that scanner method. Scanner s dot next. Now what it will do, if user is putting yes or something like that, then it will return some error. To avoid that error, what I can do, just choose the first character. So what I can do is s dot next in dot character at 0th index. 0th index, in we all know about that. Array starts from 0. Similarly, that character starts or string starts from 0. So character at 0. Then if choice is equal to y, or I can say if choice is equal to small y, or condition, I just put or condition here, small y. What it will be do is flag is true. Once flag is true, it will stop that part also, do while loop. So I'm just putting flag is equal to true here. Enter current password. So it should be asked for current password also. If it will not match, it will give that new password and all things. Na? So enter current password. So this is the one of the what we can say is most biggest part of our project, set password. Then string, I'm going to create some temporary variable to assign that, entering that part and putting next for the user. Again, if it's equal to that password, temp dot dot equals this dot password. What it will be asked? It will ask about new password. System dot out dot println enter new password. And once this is entered, what it can do is this dot password, it will just append to this s dot next. It will append to that part. and it will print system.out.println password changed successfully. It will change that password successfully, password changed. Now if password is wrong, if your password is wrong, this else part is wrong, so else what it will be put, incorrect password, system.out.println incorrect password. Now if what if the choice is not this, for that purpose I am going to create another thing, else if. You know that else if is another in the else if ladder. Similarly like that I will create here also. So wait a minute, where is the that? Okay. So what is the thing, wrong thing is that I did is here, else if it will should start from here also. Else if choice is equal to n, or choice is equal to n, small n, it will just flag is equal to true to remove from that loop part, and it will print system.out.println password changed option cancelled. That's it. Now I will create some default thing here, like else enter system.out.println, like enter valid choice or something. And after this I will end while loop with similar condition like flag, and that's it. Now we are done with our set password method. This is very biggest part, as you know, in this. So what I did is I created here password method, public void set password, boolean flag is equal to false. With the do while loop, I first put that do you want to change the password, yes or no. Then I will enter from the user. I will ask for user to press Y or N. If user presses Y, it will change that password. But before that, it will ask for a current password. If that current password matches with that old password like you are putting, it will proceed with the new password. If not, it will give the incorrect. And if you are pressing N, then it will, that option will be cancelled. Or else if you are putting some different like Y, other than Y or N or something, it will ask for enter valid choice, and then I am executing that loop, exiting that loop. So similarly for that I am going to create some set mailbox capacity, then for alternate mail, then displaying the information of the user, then store the file, and every method. So that's it. So all of you already know that we created three methods here: password change password method, generating random password method also I created here using that password method, using random also here, then asking for department, and printing the mail. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set that mailbox capacity. Now remember, in this first also I told by default is 500 MB, but if user want to extend that mailbox capacity, I am asking for the set mailbox capacity here method. So after this part I will create some set mailbox capacity method, mailbox capacity method. Then again it is public. As I told you, why should it really be public? Because user want to access that part. So void set mail cap, that's it. Then no need to put any argument here because I don't want to put here. If you want, you can minimize this part also. System.out.println current capacity, it will print current capacity first. Current capacity is equal to plus this dot mail capacity, and I am considering this is first in MB, not in GB. So I know this is very less, but I want to clearly simplify this in MB only. Then system dot out dot println, there is no need to ask for what is your first capacity or something. I just want to create or assign that. So enter new capacity, enter new mailbox capacity. Then this dot mail capacity, that part only, is equal to s dot next int, integer only, no need to put anything here, next int, and it will change like system dot out dot println mailbox capacity is successfully changed. So this is all about setting the mailbox capacity. It is very easy. Printing first current capacity, then enter the new mailbox capacity, and just from the user, just assign to that new mailbox capacity. Similarly for that, alternate mail, public void, what is that, alternate email. So I will put here first set alternate mail. Remember, put comments because it's very helpful while reading the code. System dot out dot println, enter new alternate mail or email. Then this dot alternate mail, you know that we already created that part, s dot next. Then system, this is very simple method here, no need to worry about this. Alternate mail or email is set, that's it. Now this is all about the creating or generating something, but I want to create some another method to display something, because we are just generating but there is nothing I'm going to display here. How I can display the user information or something, that part? So to display user information, I will create another method, information method. For that part, it should be public only, public void get info. I'm printing here get info. Simple, just printing, nothing. No, that system dot out dot println, just printing statement, print statements here only. This dot f name, now the space between two, this dot l name. Similarly, that system dot out dot println department plus it will put that department, this dot dbt department. This is then for email you can put email, then this dot email, all the user information basically. Then if you want to put password, you can put that password, but here why in ideal condition you should not print any password here, or you should not display any password, but for the significant convenience and I want to check it will be running or not, I'm going to put here only. So this is for the testing purpose for our application, this dot password. Then again system dot out dot println mailbox capacity, this dot mailbox mail capacity, I put there mail capacity, and with I will put here MB also, like I'm already mentioned I'm putting in this MB only, MB. Then again system dot out dot println alternate mail, alternate mail this dot alter email, and that's it. Now we are done with these methods, so let's invoke it into that public class. But before that, remember we are remaining with some other methods also, store files and this. But before that I will explain that constructor part here. So we already created one constructor here, and before that creating constructor, what I did is set mailbox capacity, then set change password method, alternate email method, and display user information method. That's it, we done. Then we want to call that methods. So calling that method is very simple here, I can say. So now I will go to this constructor part here. Now I'm putting here is calling methods. So now calling methods is very simple. This dot department, to assign that department, this dot department is equal to this dot set department, what I created there, set department. Now the for the random password I will put here for department, first random password, this for password is equal to this dot generate password with which I created. Now what required here is I'm putting length 8. What I told you, I am not mentioning length there because I want to put inside this. So avoiding that part, I just put length here. So length will be always 8. It's not very ideal condition to put always length 8, but for the simple condition I use here 8, or you can put as much you want, or you can choose from 6 to 15 or something like that. Now I want to combine this, like generating mail, you know that method, this dot what is that, generate mail, email. This is for email generation. Now now we are done with this part, but this is just, there is no method, you cannot run this like this only, because you can see there is no main method we created here, we are remaining with main method. So this is all about the email part. In next part, what I am going to show you, how we can create main method, how we are going to invoke it, that main method, including that how we can use this all part. Plus I'm going to show you how you can create and store that in the specific file, .txt file. So in the previous part parts, what we did is we created one class with some scanner method, private strings, first name, last name, department email for the email generation application, or we can say email administration application. Inside this, we created one constructor named as email. We created some methods for generate email, asking departments, then generate random password. This is very important method to how we are using random thing here. Random is user, not it's not user defined, it's system defined, or we can say Java defined, already library in Java. Then set password here. This is also very important, and I can say for this is very lengthy part of our project. So what we did is from the user it will ask for password, it will ask for the current password. If password matches, it will tell that user you can change the new password. But if not, your current password is wrong, it will throw that error, incorrect password, and you will be the out of the that part. So let's see how we can use this part, like how we can run this part. Before that we are not running this part, but if you want to run this part, you need to create main method. So why I am using here object oriented? You can see this is email, I can just put this, like I created main method here and I can invoke this, but it is not very good practice as this code is already very lengthy, as you can see. Now what I can do, I can create one another class. In that I can create one object for this email. It will very helpful to execute also and very helpful to understand. Including this, I can use that methods again and again. So this is very significant method in Java for the object oriented design. Now how we can create one another class is very simple. As we created that email class now, similarly like that, just go to this email package, email app package, right click here. It will give the options. Wait a minute, right click here, this part. This should give your all the options. Now wait a minute, it will take time to load everything. Just right click here, as you can see, new part. I want to create Java class here, Java class, and I'm going to put name as email app. So as you can see, both in are the similar package, and our app is created, or our class is created. This is package email app and our app is created. So before proceed with this, I will import very important method, import java.util. As you can see, this is very important library and we already done with this library. Now in this I am going to create a main method, which is basically PSVM, public static void main, public, and it will run our program. Again I am going to create scanner SC, or you can say S, similar to that, scanner system.in, system.in. Yeah, then after this what I will do, I will ask for user to put your name, enter first name. Then string, wait a minute, string f name is equal to n dot, oh sorry, s dot next int. So or you can use next line also here, or you can use next here also. So I am going to use next only, not next line or something. Then again system dot out dot println, enter last name, enter last name. Then string l name is equal to s dot next. That's it. So we are done with this. Now I want to create some new employee. I want to generate new employee. So we already created this email. Now I want to invoke it, this class, to this class, that email class. How I can do is, I will first put here like in here only user info like this. Now creating object for email class. Email, that email part, email em1, or I can say object1. I'm going to put here em1 is equal to new email. That's it. But remember, before that, what I am putting is here, problem is this constraint constructor, first name and last name. That's why I am asking user to put first name and last name. So I will put here like this, f name and that last name part. Now there is no error in this part, so it will generate new uh, first name and last name. But before that, if you remember, we created too many methods for generating new password and then alternate mailbox capacity, and we are going to go to further also to see how we can proceed with this. What I can do is I will put here choice, and I am putting it is equal to -1 because you can use it to flag also thing, but I want to invoke it again and again. So for this I will use do while loop. Do while loop is similarly like that we created already, system dot out dot println, then in this in next line that start star star something like, then enter your choice or similar again I'm putting slash in here, enter. This is only for the what I can say GUI part, or not very GUI but for some user interface only. One to show info, I'm putting here like that, one for show info, then two for change password, then three for change mailbox capacity slash n, fourth for no need to give the spaces, set alternate mail, and 5 for exit. I want to create one exit method also, 5 for exit slash n 5 exit. That's it. Now we are done with this. Now inside this do while loop I am going to ask choice. Choice is equal to s dot next int, as this is integer part, next dot next int switch case choice, and case 1 is show info. So as you know, we created this variable. Now what I can do is just em1 that object dot, we know we have method get info. In that part we know we have one method called get info we already created, so I'm just using that method. After this, don't forget to put break statement, otherwise it will show again and again that method. Then case 2 is change password, em1 set password method, break again, case 3 em1 dot set mail capacity, again break statement here, then case 4, what is this case 4 for setting alternate mail, email dot set alternate mail, or method is alternate mail only, break again break statement, and case 5 is nothing but just for exiting part. So what I can do is case 5 system dot out dot println thank you for using system, or I can say application. And after this, again break, and there should be one default condition here. As you can see, it is very good practice to create default condition. System dot out dot println invalid choice, enter proper choice again. Before that, I will put here /n to avoid this invalid choice, enter choice again. Okay, so we are done with this. Now I want to exit this part. I already created this while, so while I already explained you about while, how we can use, and at that 5, if I put 5, it will exit that loop. So we are done with this part. So we can run this part, but thing is we are remaining with our creating file and storing into that file and creating one executable file. So I'm going to show you or I'm going to run this part in simple scenario. To running, you can go to this also, this all over the strip, top strip, and you can see there is run. Our shortcut is Alt Shift F10 in Windows, or you can check for other systems also, or you can use add configuration. But simple way that is, you can see here that green arrow to run this part. So it will ask me run email app.main. So it will run this email app, and as you can see, configuration detected, it will automatically detect configuration, it will set that configuration. Now in this part, you can see all the building process here. This is output and everything. So our application is building. So it will take time to compile, then configuration, then directories, and checking all everything. So as you can see, in this run configuration, our app is successfully deployed, or I can say running. So this is very simple app. You can enhance it to more something like web app or something like that, but this is just a backend of our app. So I will put here like James, last name is B, James B only. So new employee is James B. Now what is its department? I am setting it to the sales department. Now I want to show his your info. So as you can see, his info is james.b.company, as I told you. Name is James B. Password is this, mailbox capacity, and I'm not printing any mail. So in the further part, I will show you how to you can modify this also. So this is for just I'm showed about how we can run. So I just stop this process here only. So let us see how we can move further. So I just created one simple scenario here. Let us add some this also, because there is some mistakes here also. Email set, then new employee also, there is one mistake that there is no gap between two this. So this will help. So now let's run that method again. So as you can see, this is very backend, or this is very primary, but here what we understood that how we can create object oriented design, how we can create system default methods using random James B 2, or I am putting for 3 accounting department. Now for this you can see all the information. Let us see how we can use change password. I am putting Y, enter current password. So this is current password. currently I'm copy pasting this part only, because I don't want to waste time on that. So it will ask for me enter new password. So I will put 123 pass. Password changed successfully. Now if I am showing the info, you can see 123 pass. The password is changed. And I'm not putting any alternate mail. You can set alternate mail. Let's put alternate mail jamesb@gmail.com. And if I'm putting that, you can see alternate mail is set. You can set everything. Let's change mailbox capacity. I'm putting here 1000 MB. Mailbox capacity changed again. You can see 1000 MB. So we created this. So this is backend part of our project. So in previous video, we learned how we can create main method and how we can run. In further, I'm going to explain how we can store this information into one file. So let us see. I'm going to here specify public void, again public void store file method, store file method. This is just a method. Now I am going to use here file writer. For that, I already used or imported this library java.io. This is very important library for file writer method. So before file writer method, you should throw the user defined exception. For that purpose, I am going to use here try. Try catch is very simple user defined exception methods, or we can say it is not very user defined. We can say it is error handling method, system.out.println e for the error handling. So let us see inside this try how we can create file writer in is equal to new file writer. You have to specify the basically location of that file, or you can say that info. If you are not giving that part, you can just put file name here, but it will create in the system default. But in my case, I am going to use here desktop location file which I already created. So just I'm putting the full path. Always remember, you should give the full path for info.txt while you are giving different file for that purpose. If you are going to use the same file inside your project, or you are going to create, you can just put that name also, file name. After that, I want to put that part in dot write. What I'm going to write is here is first name, because there is nothing mentioned that is first name or something. So similarly, I am putting here first name here, then in dot, I'm not going to write it again, I'm going to append it. So I'm going to append it here only. Last name. Okay, you can put here /n always, huh? Remember /n this dot l name, again in dot append. Similarly, I'm going to put everything here now, email, everything. So similarly, this like that, you can put everything, email, then in dot append password. Ideally, you should not store any password, but I'm considering this as a database, so I'm putting this as in email dot password also. Then in dot append /n capacity, again capacity plus this dot, what is the name is mail capacity, in dot append alternate mail. Alternate mail plus, oh wait a minute, plus this dot alternate mail, alternate email. What is the alternate email? That's it. Now I'm going to close this. Always remember, this is best practice to close everything. and just printing system dot out dot println data stored. That's it. Now this is for storing. We need to create for reading part also. Similarly, reading file method public void. It should not be public, but for system convenience, I'm going to use here this part, read file. Similarly, you are going to use try catch here for exception handling, exception e system dot out dot println e. Inside this, you are going to handle it. Here I'm going to use file reader method java.io. You can use input stream. These are very efficient thing. Here output stream, input stream, it will serialize it, deserialize it. These are very helpful, but due to time constraint and also there is no need to put everything. I'm just going to use this. So file name as mentioned in this store file, I'm going to copy this part in the code also and just paste it to avoid the time constraint. And then just I'm creating file entire because it will loop through the characters and entire, so it is very difficult to understand, but it is very helpful while for the small part and project. Fname dot read, there is some default till that. What is that part? Till not equal to -1, which is basically not null. What it will be do, it will print system dot out dot println in the console. What will we print? It will print character strings because it will access that in what we can say in the integer part, but I want to print it as a character, so it will ask for character. Once this one is done, I'm going to f1 dot close. Here connection is closed and this part is done. If you want, you can put here one system dot out dot println statement, just this to give the gap. Now we are done with this, but we haven't created anything in that email main part. Okay, so as you know, for this I will extend that part. So as fifth is exist, but now fifth part is for the store data in file. Now sixth option is for display data from file, and now the seventh part is for exit. Similarly, we are going to change this in this part. Fifth part is as it is, but I'm going to change this statement to what? To store that data. em1 dot store file. Then for after break condition, case 6, em1 dot read file. Break condition again. Then case 7 is now system dot out dot println thank you for using our application. And then again break. Now we are going to change this condition also 7. So now we are done with our project part. Let's run this part and I will explain how you can create some jar file here with this Java archive file. So let's run this part. Run. So it will ask for first name James B, So new employee name is James B. I'm setting it for sales department. I will ask for the show info. So it will show info. Now you can understand each time this is different and it is not taking numbers now. You can see it is just putting some random variables and everything. Show info. Then I want to store it into the file. Fifth, store into the file. Data stored. As you can see, it is stored into the file. If I am putting 6 display data, you can see now this is printing to this. Now you will understand why this is printing to this. So you need to change something here. So you will understand what we did mistake here is, as this is done, but before that in the choice, wait a minute, where in the store file I am printing this statement, na? This will create some error. So you can remove this part and also just remove that slash n's also. It will create step by step. So it is very difficult to understand. So always never give the slash n this part. Now I will run it again and I will show you. So this is all about our application. So I will put it again, James B, sales department again. It's stored in data file. Please display that data. You can see our data is displaying. Now let us see. Wait a minute. I made one error also, print ln. Just put print here and also give slash n here to avoid that error. Slash n, slash n, slash n, slash n, and slash n. Similarly like that. Let us run it again. Now we debug with our problem. As you can see, it's printing character by character because of the print ln statement. Now I am going with print statement. James B, sales department, store into that data, display data. So as you can see, it is displaying the data, capacity and everything. So now we are done with our project, but let's see how we can create one single file, or we can say some single jar file, Java archive file for executing this part. We are already done with our project. So as I told you, we are going to create one single executing file with our project. So for this purpose, go to this file option, project structure part. You can see this first dialog box, but go to artifacts here, press add button here, jar file, and we want to create with dependencies. Module is email application. So as you put something here, it will automatically detect this part. Main class, we need to put main class. Click OK. Once it is OK, click again OK. It should be system default, don't change anything here. Then click apply and then hit enter. OK. Now the artifact is loaded, but we want to build it. So go to build here and create this build artifacts. So it will give option here, build what, rebuild, clean, edit, something. So build. So it will take time to build. As you can see in the dialog box here bottom, it is building this and it is doing. So it will take time to build as per our project requirements. Our project requirements are very less in this. So now you can see in the out and artifacts, you can see this email.jar file, email application file. So if you want to run this part, you have to edit the configuration. So go to this tab here, edit configuration part here. You will see this dialog box. Click add new button here. Then there is a huge list for this. So go to down here. Inside this you have to identify this jar application here. Click enter. You can give the name. I am giving the name as email app. Local machine you have to put and give the jar path here. So in this jar path is always in out artifacts, and this you can see jar path. Click enter, apply. Now you can run this email app path, and as you can see, this is printing this everything. So our jar file is running. run as that a class we are running. Now we are running with jar file. Let's see how we can run in command prompt itself. So I am going to pause this part and I will show how we can do this in the command prompt is running. So let's run our jar file, java/jar, and that name of your jar file. So you can see this is running. I'm again putting this James B, then as development cell, and info. As you can see, info is printing. Similarly, like that, you can create one application. So this is very basic application we are going to use, but you can move further with that any part. Like you can create JavaFX GUI for this and anything. So let us see what we achieved in this. So as you can see, we created one part, fname. So for the overview of our project, we created one random method. We use that to create email application. So we created different methods and we are used in this. So this is all about our project Java application. Thank you.